Hey everyone, I want to give you just a couple seconds here for people to hop on who plan on watching the video live. I got notified by a few people that they're going to be watching the recording. So do know that I am going to be posting this in the group page. So you can go back and watch it at your leisure whenever you need to, because I recommend you get a piece of paper and pencil. Hey Carrie. And take notes, because I'm going to be covering a lot of different topics and a lot of different oils specific to different things. So you're going to see a common denominator as I go through this class on some oils that continue to repeat themselves, but there are going to be some outlier oils that you may just want to take note of, and I will discuss those for various reasons there as well. But let me get my technology all in place here. I'm excited too. I'm so excited, really. Carrie just posted that she's really excited about the class. I'm so excited mostly because, so I used essential oils to help with hormone regulation and getting me ready and making my body healthy to get pregnant with my first son. And I'm now pregnant with my second son. And it's very interesting because I was very unsure about how to use essential oils and if I was using them correctly with my first pregnancy. So I really didn't use essential oils during my pregnancy. I used them before trying to get pregnant, but not during my pregnancy. But fast forward about 3 years later, and now I'm using them all the time during my pregnancy, and it's been such an amazing difference in the first pregnancy and in the pregnancy now, and having these tools and being able to use them regularly and feeling comfortable using them. And I want you guys to feel comfortable using them too, because the reason I didn't use them in my first pregnancy is because I was like, I don't know how to use these. I don't know which ones to use, how to use them safely. And I just want to take that worry out of it for you so that you guys can know that these are wonderful natural tools to use during your pregnancy and how helpful they are. So I'm excited to share not only the research I've done, but also my personal experience from the previous pregnancy to this pregnancy now. So to introduce myself, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Erin Nolan and I am a registered nurse. I do work in the hospital setting, in a nursing setting, and I also have my own wellness business where I coach people on how to use holistic and natural alternatives in their health and wellness in their daily life. So that's what I'm doing with you guys here tonight. So this is an interactive class. If you're watching this live or if you're watching this in a recording and you have any questions, feel free to post them and I will respond to them. But also know if you have any private questions, because we are talking about pregnancy, which can be very personal sometimes, to just send me a message and I would be happy to answer any of them in private as well. But to talk about, let's just jump right in about what is an essential oil. So an essential oil is a medicinal compound that is actually extracted in liquid form from plants. And what's really cool is that these plants, let's say a tree, for example, you can extract an essential oil from the leaf, and then you can extract an essential oil from the bark, you can extract an essential oil from the fruit that it produces or from the root, and you're going to get completely different essential oils with completely different medicinal compounds that you can use on your body, potentially in your body, for different therapeutic reasons. So it's really interesting because these plants use these medicinal properties to protect themselves for antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, regenerative properties, so we can then extract them from the plant and use them on our bodies for the exact same reasons. So because of that, I'm going to get into why specifically. So I told you kind of my background and why I started using essential oils originally, and that was because of my hormones and I wanted to help regulate them to help with pregnancy. And so fast forward a little bit. So now this is my first we're going back in time, pretending like this is my first pregnancy. And I was doing a ton of research because I wanted to do everything naturally and I wanted to make sure I was providing the best optimal body environment for my baby that was being formed. Hey, Lisa. So I came across this article and I'm going to read it to you, just this little area. And this is really what sparked my interest into realizing it really matters what we put on and in our body when we're pregnant. So it says right here, it says the Environmental Working Group found that an average of 287 contaminants were in the newborn blood. They took cord samples, and this is where they found this. In the samples, they found mercury, fire retardants, pesticides, and the Teflon chemical PFOA, excuse me. Of the 287 chemicals detected in the umbilical cord blood, it is known that 180 cause cancer in humans or animals, 217 are toxic to the brain and nervous system development, and 208 cause birth defects or abnormal development in animal testing. Y'all, this is terrifying. And these babies and these fetuses are getting these chemicals through us. So this is through what we're eating. This is through the different products we're putting on our skin, the different things we're using over the counters that are going inside of our bodies, anything, what we're washing our clothes with, and it sits on our skin and it absorbs into our blood system. So really, this was very eye-opening for me. And I kind of did more research, and the samples were taken by the American Red Cross. So I knew there wasn't a whole lot of bias or any type of false reporting that could have been done with this testing. So this was very eye-opening and very concerning for me. So then I started like throwing out all my toothpaste and going natural with my toothpaste and my shampoo and like everything. So this is really what got me started as far as pregnancy goes, and really understanding the natural tools and the natural alternatives and why it's so important to use them when we're creating an optimal environment to grow a human. So one is essential oils, which I already talked about. They're natural compounds. So because of that, when our bodies use them, our bodies don't view them as foreign. They view them as natural substances that that our cells communicate with very easily. So these substances can actually cross the lipid membrane of the cells extremely quickly and very easily and work from the inside of the cell out. Some essential oils that are extremely high in a molecular compound called sesquiterpenes actually have the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. So those of you guys who are also in the medical field know how amazing that is and how amazing these tools can really be for us and for our bodies. And because they are natural compounds, they work much quicker than synthetics. So actually within 26 to 30 seconds of putting an essential oil on your skin, it has the ability to reach down into the dermis, which is where our blood system is, and actually get into our blood system and circulate. So that is how essential oils work fast, and that's why they are so effective and they're quick in relieving. Y'all, I'm going to show this to you guys later, but I have been using the heck out of this roller bottle I made for some lower back discomfort. It has been crazy, and it is so fast when I roll it on my lower back. Literally within seconds, I can feel relief, and it is so helpful to be able to have that immediate relief. Less side effects. So that's a perk for us, not so much the baby, but that's a wonderful perk for us that we're not putting synthetic chemicals in our body that have side effects that could be detrimental to whatever's going on in our body or our baby or for us, and they're effective. When I was doing research on essential oils originally several years ago and trying to learn like, okay, I'm science-based, I have a degree in science, I have to see research before I can really bite off on this stuff. Peppermint alone has over 1,200 scientific studies that have been completed supporting their efficacy. So that's amazing that there's that many just on one essential oil. So the reason we don't know about them so much here in America is because A, we're behind the times. Here in America, Europe has been using them forever, but also just because we're so inundated with quick fixes and getting things that are synthetic, and we need to get away from that because it's not healthy, it's not good for us, and we need to use natural alternatives, especially during pregnancy. And they're extremely affordable. So for example, I'm going to talk about lavender in a little bit. Lavender is an essential oil, and because I'm talking about doTERRA here, these are certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. It only takes 1 drop to be effective, and 1 drop of lavender is 8 cents. So when you really break that down from a financial standpoint, and that there's 250 drops in 1 bottle, it's extremely cost effective and makes so much sense, and we save a lot of money in our home by using natural alternatives such as essential oils versus things that we get over the counter. And really, they're just so easy to use, you really can't mess it up. So I want to put you at ease again. I know I already said this, but I really want to put you at ease that I'm here to help you if you have questions, absolutely, but you really cannot mess this up. So to go into how we use essential oils, I'm going to do this real briefly because like I said, I have a ton of stuff that I want to cover with you guys, but there's 3 ways that we use essential oils. The first way is aromatically, and aromatically is just through smell. And we do this for 2 reasons. One is because when we open a bottle and we smell an aroma and we breathe it in, that smell goes into our nose, it stimulates our cranial nerve one, which is our actual olfactory bulb, which goes directly into our brain, is attached to our limbic system. And our limbic system is a grouping of structures and networks that house our emotions, how we react to things, our activity, how we remember things. So it's a very important and powerful part of our senses that we can actually directly affect through aromas and smells. Another way is, I'm going to see if I can bring this over without breaking something. This is a diffuser. And what a diffuser is actually, it's not a humidifier. You don't put essential oils in CPAP or BiPAP. It is a specific mechanism or machine that you can actually open, put water in, put a couple drops of essential oils, put the top back on, turn it on, and as you can see, what it does is it aerosolizes that essential oil so that we can breathe it in, just like a nebulizer or any type of like inhaler or nebulizer, so we can actually breathe in the essential oil and get it into our blood system that way. So it's great for therapeutic and systemic use also. Then we use them topically. Specifically in pregnancy, we always want to dilute essential oils. There's several essential oils we can use, such as lavender, that you don't typically have to dilute when you use them on your skin, but I recommend always diluting essential oils if you're pregnant. And what we use is a carrier oil. And what a carrier oil is any plant-based oil. We like to use in the essential oil world, it's called fractionated coconut oil, and it's coconut oil that has had an ion removed so it stays liquid at cold temperatures. And the reason we like that is because then we can mix it in roller bottles and pump bottles with other oils and know that it stays liquid. Fractionated coconut oil doesn't have an aroma. It also doesn't leave greasy residue. So it's wonderful to use on like your feet or topical use whenever you don't want to have like greasy hands or any type of transferring of that. And it actually helps the essential oil reach our dermis, which is where our blood system is. So studies have shown when you dilute with a carrier oil, an essential oil with a carrier oil, that it actually gets into our blood system quicker and better that way. So that's another reason that we like to use carrier oils with our essential oil. In pregnancy specifically, you typically want to use 1 drop of essential oil per 1 teaspoon of a carrier oil. And that's the typical recommended dilution that you want to use throughout pregnancy. Internal use is the third way we use essential oils. I caution whenever you're pregnant, especially the first trimester, I did not take any essential oils internally during my first trimester, just because there's no research to support it or not to support it. So because of that, I chose not to. I know several people who use essential oils internally while they're pregnant. I have not. I cook with it still, but I just have not ingested them. I haven't needed to. So I've used them topically, and I've also used them aromatically. So to talk a little bit more about, we're going to go through doTERRA's oils, and we're going to go through a couple of their blends. But they are certified pure therapeutic grade. And the reason I want to bring that up when I'm talking about pregnancy is because we already talked about chemicals and how important it is to make sure that that's not getting into our system while we're pregnant. But the CPTG, or certified pure therapeutic grade, the reason that's so important when we're talking about essential oils is because of their purity and because of their sourcing standards. So because of this, I feel very confident in knowing that there's no dilution, no adulterations. People can go to the store and get an oil that says 100% pure essential oil and really have no clue what's in it because there's no regulatory body. So there's no laws enforcing that what they're putting on that bottle or that label is factual or correct. And they also take it one step further where on the bottom of their bottles, they have a barcode or a code that you can put into a website that's called Source to You, and it releases all the purity reports. So you actually know exactly what's in your bottle, where it came from, when it was sourced, whose hands it's been in, which gives me a lot of peace of mind whenever I'm using essential oils on me. Sorry, my throat is getting raspy. So we talked about dilution, we talked about ingestion, and being very cautious during the first trimester with any type of ingestion of essential oils, just simply because we just don't have a lot of research on it. And also be very careful too, whenever you Google things. So there's a wealth of misinformation out there. And this is why it's so important to have a coach or someone that you can actually speak to guide you through your essential oils. And that was one of the reasons I was super hesitant during my first pregnancies, because I didn't really have a coach or anyone that I trusted when I was new to essential oils to really walk me through it. So try not to Google, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of stuff that's posted that's not correct, that they say is safe, that's not safe, that they say is not safe, that actually is. So just make sure you have someone that you trust and a coach that has access to research and access to proper teaching and coaching techniques to teach you how to use these safely during pregnancy. So I'm going to talk about oils that I choose to avoid while being pregnant. And there's a difference between avoiding and using cautiously. So avoiding is if you use it or if you come in contact with it, don't freak out. It's okay. Just try not to use it if you don't have to. And that is clary sage. The reason during pregnancy is because it actually, and we're going to talk about this in the next class, it actually helps with contractions. So if you are not wanting to go into labor or excite your uterus, don't use clary sage. Jasmine does the same thing. Wintergreen, the main molecular constituent in wintergreen is methyl salicylate, and we know that we're supposed to avoid aspirin during pregnancy, and methyl salicylate is a very similar compound, so we choose to just be safe and avoid it. Cassia, that is a spice-like oil. It smells like cinnamon and clove. So those oils are actually exciting, again, to the uterus, so we like to avoid cassia. And then rosemary. Rosemary has actually been shown to increase blood pressure. So that would be one that we would want to avoid during pregnancy, especially if we have a history of high blood pressure. And then cinnamon, because we talked about that spice and how spices can be igniting to our muscular system. Ones to use with caution. So if you're going to use these sparingly and use them extremely diluted, and that's going to be thyme, fennel, clove, basil, lemongrass, and juniper berry. And I do again want to say that I researched one study that another healthcare professional published, and it said that, and they reviewed the last 25 years, there has been 0 reports of someone using an essential oil and there being a miscarriage, or there being any adverse effects to the pregnancy, or any type of harm to the fetus. So that to me gives me a lot of comfort in knowing that in the last 25 years where they've had this data, that's the only reason it went back 25 years is because they didn't have any data to support beyond that. I mean, we can't say that about other products that we use, and we can't say that about other things that we can go over the counter and get and use. So that gives me a lot of comfort in knowing, again, that these are safe tools that we can use during our pregnancy. So let's jump right in to talk about specific ailments during pregnancy that we can have natural tools and solutions for. So number one, when people think of pregnancy and they think of like, okay, what is one of the biggest things that people complain of when they're pregnant? What is it? It's of course nausea. We're going to go over nausea and discomforts a lot. So nausea. My first pregnancy, I didn't really struggle with this, but with this pregnancy, it was horrible. It was so bad. So I got to whip out my oils and try a few things. So I'll tell you what worked for me. One that was really great to use topically for me was ginger. And I can tell you the smell of ginger, I've never liked it. So I had to avoid the smell of it. So I would just dilute it and rub it directly over my belly or on the bottom of my feet, because our pores are very large on the bottom of our feet. So it actually absorbs very quickly into our blood system. So ginger. Lemon is very good for this as well. Peppermint. Peppermint is one that we want to dilute extremely during the first trimester because it is very energizing. So just like we want to avoid caffeine during the first trimester, kind of the same reason. So, but I used the heck out of it because I was so nauseous in my first trimester. So how I used it is I have a diffuser necklace. I always kept it in the diffuser necklace so I could smell it. And then I also would actually brush my teeth with it in the morning. And what I would do is I'd get my toothpaste and I would put a drop of peppermint and I would brush my teeth with it and then rinse my mouth out and spit it out. But that was really the biggest help in getting that nausea, like where you start salivating and you're just like feeling so gross. Brushing my teeth with the peppermint was the biggest help, and then always smelling it. So diffusing it and smelling it also was very helpful. But using the substance topically, ginger was very helpful. Also, something that I found that worked really well is TerraZyme. And TerraZyme is something that doTERRA does offer. And all it is plant and vegetable-based enzymes that they extract out of food that helps digest your food. And the reason this is very helpful during pregnancy when you get that nausea is because part of the reason we get nauseous is because the hormones that are released actually slow our digestive tract and actually slow the peristalsis in our stomach. So this helps basically emulsify it and liquefy it so our body can process it and absorb it quicker, which is what helps with that nausea. So that was very, very helpful. Marcy, she said, Ginger ale works great, not with ginger oil, thanks. Yeah, anything with ginger, with real ginger oil or ginger extract is really good. Just make sure it's not flavoring because that has no medicinal compounds in it. But the ginger was very helpful for me. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about heartburn. Any type of burning or any type of feelings that like it's coming up into your throat. This has gotten really bad for me over the last like week or two. Again, ginger is really wonderful for this. We actually want to avoid peppermint because anytime we start having any type of burning coming back up from our stomach, the peppermint actually relaxes the sphincter that keeps the acid down into our stomach. So try to avoid the peppermint because that can actually make it worse. Try ginger. And I didn't bring it down here to show you guys, but I mixed a little bottle that I take to work with me, and it's a pump bottle, and I diluted it, and it has ginger, lemon, and wild orange. And really it's the ginger that helps me the most, but I added the lemon and the wild orange because that was just some research that I read. And so I pump it in my hand, rub it around, I put it on my chest, I put it up here. Remember, your belly is not down where the baby is, it's actually up here where it's almost in your chest. So I put it right here, up here, and then if I have the ability, I put it on the bottom of my feet also. And that's very helpful. So slow digestion, and this can get worse as pregnancy progresses also, where we start to notice irregularity in our bathroom habits, and then we also start to notice slow digestion, which makes the heartburn worse and makes the nausea worse, and it's just all this fun stuff that these hormones do to our muscle system and our digestive system. So slow digestion, again, we talked about the digestive enzymes and how it pre-emulsifies the food for us so that it's very easy for our body to break down and absorb quickly. So I recommend that. Also, peppermint is good for helping move things, and like we said previously, the same reason during the first trimester we want to make sure we dilute heavily if we ever use it is because it is very energizing and it excites muscles. So if we want that for our intestines, then we can use that on our abdomen or the bottom of our feet also. Lemon, ginger are other essential oils that are very good for this. And another thing that I have, that I've recommended to a few people and I take every single day is probiotics. Having a healthy gut flora or having healthy gut bacteria is very important for digestive support, as well as it actually working and functioning correctly, and us going to the bathroom correctly. So I don't know if you can see this. This is what their doTERRA's probiotic looks like that I take every day. It's double encapsulated, and then the inside capsule is micro encapsulated. It has 6 different strands that they use, and I love it. Sometimes I take it every other day because I'm so used to taking it that it just works really well. So sleep. This is a huge issue. So not only does hormones mess up our sleep, but also just when you get big and uncomfortable and just feel like a big turtle in a bed and you can't roll over and it's just horrible and you can't get comfortable, it's hard. So that's why I feel like I'm napping. I nap every time my son naps because I just feel like I'm not sleeping at night, and it's hard. In addition to, then you have the reflux and then all these other things that happen. So sleep, what I have been using, research supports beyond a doubt the use of lavender, and the lavender use for us to sedate the nervous system and help us with healthy sleep habits and cycles as well. So lavender is one of those oils that I recommend not only for moms but for babies. Every home needs to have a bottle of lavender in it. Some essential oils you can add to it if you choose. I just use lavender, but there's others that you can use as well. Frankincense is wonderful. Copaiba is a wonderful essential oil as well for sedating the nervous system. Roman chamomile is another very gentle essential oil to use during pregnancy to help calm and soothe, also for babies. And ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is really good for actually helping regulate hormone levels also, and helping normal production and levels of hormones throughout pregnancy and postpartum. So some of that reason that we have issues sleeping is because our hormones are all out of whack. So ylang ylang just helps support healthy hormone levels and production, especially at night. So next, let's talk about energy. So we don't sleep well at night. We feel uncomfortable during the day. So energy is just something that we struggle with, right? So again, talking about how when we smell an aroma, and I was talking about at the beginning of the class, how that directly affects our limbic system and controls how we function, how our brain processes, how our brain senses things, how our emotions are processed. Same thing happens with essential oils and our focus and our energy and being able to actually ignite our brain. And peppermint is wonderful at this. So anytime you start to feel like you're having issues with focus, or you're having issues with motivation, or you're having issues with energy, peppermint is beyond a doubt what I would say you need to start diffusing. And grapefruit is a great augment to that. So what I mean is use peppermint, and if you feel like you're like, I still need another little boost, add some grapefruit to that. And those are a great mixture to work synergistically to really affect and help with energy levels. All citrus oils are wonderful for this also. So if you have any citrus oils, lemon, wild orange, grapefruit, tangerine, any of those, there's also a blend called Citrus Bliss that doTERRA makes. Let me see, I actually have it right here. Let me read it, tell you what's in it real quick. Wild orange, lemon, grapefruit, mandarin, bergamot, tangerine, clementine, and then vanilla absolute. So this smells super yummy. This is another oil or blend that you can use to help with energy as well. Clear complexions and breakouts. Okay, so I struggled with this during my first trimester, and I've been doing pretty well since my first trimester, but what I found was most helpful for me is an essential oil called Melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree oil. Has wonderful soothing, it has strong antibacterial and antifungal properties that are associated with it, and its molecular constituents also. So what I would do is I would just put 1 drop in addition to my moisturizer and apply it to my face morning and night, and it worked amazing. No, I do want to say this to you, know that over-the-counter products that contain salicylic acid should not be used during pregnancy, because remember we talked about the molecular compounds that are associated with aspirin and how they should be avoided during pregnancy. Salicylic acid is something that we can use on our face over the counter that is associated with aspirin that we should avoid. Also retinol, so any vitamin A's and retinol should also be avoided as well, because there has been correlations to fetal defects with that. So again, talking about natural solutions, that's why I use Melaleuca. And then doTERRA also makes a line that's called HD Clear, which has all non-toxic products in it and essential oils to help with clear complexion. So that's what I've been using. So to go on skin discoloration, since we're talking about skin, pregnancy and hormones can cause skin discoloration, specifically on the forehead. Can be skin discoloration actually on our bellies as well. There's a formula that can be used for this that is equal parts. This is so that you would have to concoct this and put it in a little roller bottle with the fractionated coconut oil like we talked about, and it is geranium, equal parts geranium, equal parts frankincense, and equal parts lavender. And just apply it to the skin discoloration whenever you start noticing it, morning and night, or whenever you do your facial routines. Try to apply it during those times as well. So I made a belly balm because obviously we all get kind of concerned about our stomach going back to the way it was before, or stretch marks, or whatever else craziness happens to our body during pregnancy. So this is my mammoth concoction that I made, but I use it a lot and I'm obsessed with it. And it has 3 different essential oils in it. Geranium, which is wonderful for skin, helping the skin stretch, helping the skin elasticity, and helping the skin heal correctly. So geranium, frankincense. Frankincense is the king of all oils because it has so many different molecular compounds in it that are used medicinally. And we're going to talk about this a lot during the labor and delivery class I'm going to be giving, because one of the reasons Jesus was given frankincense, which we all know frankincense by, was actually because during that time, that's what the women used to help with postpartum care and for the care of the newborn. So frankincense is really good for that. And then also lavender. Lavender is very calming and soothing to the skin. So put those 3 together. And if any of y'all want this recipe, just message me and I'd be happy to give it to you. But then I use some shea butter, vitamin E, beeswax, and jojoba oil also. And I just use this morning and night. Sometimes it's so thick that I only have to use it once a day, but obviously when I get out of the shower, I use it. So that's what I choose to use on my belly and on my hips as well. So immune support, especially right now as we're getting into the cooler seasons where we're starting to have all these different bugs going around, immune support's really important because obviously we don't want to inundate our bodies and our homes with all these toxic chemicals to clean and protect ourselves, especially while being pregnant. So On Guard is typically the essential oil that we use the most because it has the most scientific support behind its use to help our immune system, as well as to help guard us, it's on guard, right? Guard us from environmental threats. However, it has several oils that we are supposed to be very cautious about using during pregnancy because it has those spices in it that could potentially be spicy to our uterus. So we don't want that. So I can tell you I have been diffusing On Guard in my home. So it's a diffuser like this. I just put a couple drops of it, and it's because it diffuses in the whole room. The actual amount that gets to me and I breathe in is so minute that I'm really just using it to cleanse the air and also cleanse the surfaces that of which the On Guard lands on, not so much me. So I'm not using it for my medicinal purposes. I'm using it to clean my home. I also use On Guard. I still use that to clean my surfaces in my house as well. So, but for actual, like if you start to feel like you're coming down with something, you're just feeling yucky, or if someone in your house is sick and you're trying to make sure that you try and stay as well as possible, essential oils that can be used for that you would want to use topically as well as diffuse for internal support would be frankincense, copaiba, melaleuca is a huge one, lemon is a really good one, and oregano also is very, very good. Probiotics are huge. Again, I've talked about that a couple times, but probiotics are so important for healthy immune function because the majority of our immune system is actually found in our gut. So our stomach and our intestines and that whole system. So if we don't have a healthy defense in our gut, then our immune system is going to be weak to begin with. So that's very important to remember as well. Healthy circulation. So to talk about a few things here, healthy circulation and healthy blood pressure levels are very important. I told you previously, let's avoid rosemary if we have a history of high blood pressure at any time, but helping to support healthy blood levels or healthy blood pressures throughout pregnancy would be ylang ylang and cypress. Ylang ylang is the number one that I have found the most research to support. So that's the one I always recommend first. And then cypress is another one that can be used regularly also during pregnancy. Healthy circulation. So we're talking about leg circulation here, especially for us nurses who end up going home and being like, oh my gosh, my legs, I can't. I'm not kidding. The other day, I actually had to wake my husband up at 12 in the morning when I came home because my circulation was so bad I couldn't get my pants off. So my husband had to help me get my pants off. So what do we use for that? Other than propping our legs up, right? We can also use cypress again. We can use grapefruit and lemon. You can use, if you just have one of those oils, just use one of those oils. If you have all three, mix them together, apply them topically with the carrier oil to your legs and go from the bottom up. So you actually want to make sure that you're actually pulling the pressure or any type of blood supply from your feet, go from your toes upwards as you're applying that carrier oil. Leg cramps and muscle cramps. This is huge, especially at night. So there's some positions I won't even lay in because I know if it happens, then my feet are going to cramp up or my muscles are going to cramp up. So marjoram is wonderful for this. So I actually keep marjoram at my bedside. So if I ever start to have this issue, I have a carrier oil and I have my marjoram. I just put a couple drops in my hand, rub it together, apply it directly to my legs, and it works pretty instantaneously. And it makes your legs feel a lot more comfortable whenever you're having that cramping sensation. Okay. Lower back discomfort. This is huge. Again, I never really had this issue with my first pregnancy, but for some reason during this pregnancy, I think it's because the job I have now at the hospital, I sit at a desk and it's very sedentary, which you would think would be better for some reason for your back, but it's actually been way worse for my back. So I've really been struggling with this. And aside from chiropractic care, which I highly encourage making sure you find like a certified chiropractor, someone who specializes in women pregnancy, but also essential oils that you can use that are helpful for the musculature, for disc health, and then also for nervous system health. There's several essential oils. And if you have just a couple of these, try them, use them, see if they're helpful for you. I made a roller bottle that has all of these in it. And I just apply it to my lower back and rub it in. I actually taught my 2-year-old son how to apply it to my back, so that's been pretty helpful too. I just squat down and he rubs it on for me, which is nice. But the oils for this are frankincense again. Remember all the medicinal properties in that are very calming, soothing, regenerative, healing. Copaiba, lavender, black pepper is wonderful. That's one that I actually put a little bit of extra in, is the black pepper. Marjoram, because it's very relaxing to cramped muscles and stiff muscles. Ginger, because it's very anti-inflammatory. And Roman chamomile, because again, it's very soothing. So those are the essential oils that you can mix if you have them. If you just have one, just use that one. But the black pepper has been very helpful for me. Okay, lower back nerve pain. If we're talking about sciatic health, or we're talking about specific nerve type of pain that is painful to you, there's a few oils specifically that I recommend for that. Marjoram is one of them, lavender, and then Roman chamomile. If you have those, mix them together. If you just have one, just try that one. Apply it directly over the site that is discomforting for you. And then nasal stuffiness. So as we progress through our pregnancy and our blood supply increases, our nasal passages, there's so many blood vessels in our nasal passages that actually the excessive blood flow actually starts to stuff us up. So what we can use for this, where is mine, is a blend called Breathe. And this just opens the airways instantaneously. I have recently gotten this. I don't know why it took me so long to get this, but this is Breathe in a stick, like a vapor stick. I do not use over-the-counter vapor sticks because of the chemicals that are in them. So I choose to use this. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely instantaneous. This is actually another good tool if you're in the car or if you're on the go and you have those nauseous feelings also. This is another good thing to smell because it does have peppermint and eucalyptus and some other oils that are very good at helping that process calm down a little bit whenever you're nauseous. But that's what I recommend for the actual stuffiness that you experience, which mine tends to get worse at the end of the day for some reason. Okay, so let's talk about emotions associated with pregnancy. Hormones are crazy, so we become crazy, right? Like I know I do. I become absolutely like, one day I'm totally fine, and then another day I'm having to call my friend and be like, am I overreacting about this? Like, why am I acting like this? And I get all upset. So I have to remember that I'm pregnant and that my hormones are out of whack. So how do we deal with this from a natural standpoint? Or are there tools that we have that we can use to help us with this? Absolutely. So we've talked several times already about our limbic system and how aromas can directly affect our emotions, how we process things, and how we react to things. So because of that stimulation from the limbic system, there's been scientific studies that have been done that actually prove different aromas do different things to how we react to emotions and how we react to different circumstances. So citrus oils in general are what we call our be glad and happy oils. So be glad, not sad. Citrus oils are known and scientifically proven for uplifting mood and helping to alleviate anxious feelings. So this is wild orange, tangerine, citrus bliss, which I went through earlier, all the different oils in that one. Grapefruit, lemon, tangerine, and bergamot. Bergamot's a really good one to help uplift mood because it also has medicinal compounds that are good for healthy hormone levels as well. So other oils that are great that are not citrus oils, but that are good for mood uplifting, that are associated with hormones, and we're wanting to make sure that we have healthy support of our hormones, that would be geranium and ylang-ylang. So those are the two I would recommend for that, specifically because of the hormone-induced whatever is going on during our pregnancy. So if we start to notice we're having excessive stress or excessive anxious feelings, which can also happen when we're pregnant, we start to worry about things, we start nesting, we try and get everything in order, then we start just stressing about things being done the way we want them to be done. Several essential oils that are great for that. One is a blend called Balance. I live off of this blend. I have it in my work bag and I put a little roller top on it and I apply it to myself like all the time. So I actually don't have that down here to show you what the roller ball looks like that you can get, and just so that way you can apply it directly to your skin whenever you need to inhale it. So Balance is a great blend. Lavender, we talked about lavender a few times already. So lavender is a great one for sedating and helping the nervous system calm down. Frankincense, and then again the ylang-ylang and the geranium as well. So healthy cell function and inflammatory response. So this is very important while our bodies are overloaded during pregnancy, because we're not only trying to take care of our body, but our body is also taking care of another body, which can put a lot of stress and inflammatory responses happen in our body. So the essential oils that are helpful for this, just overall cell health and regeneration, one is neroli. There's research to support its use during the third trimester to help with healthy inflammatory responses during the third trimester. So neroli, which smells like absolute heaven. I say it smells like Hawaii because it's like this tropical flower that it smells like. It's wonderful. I use that daily. Frankincense is another one, and copaiba are another one that are really great for those uses. So again, like I said, I know I covered a ton of oils, and you're like, you just went over like 20 something oils. So You do not need to have all of these oils to get started. What we do is we tell you there is a core or a foundational group of oils that you probably heard me repeat over and over again that are used frequently throughout pregnancy and can be used for several different reasons. So because of that, we've created two different, we call them pregnancy bundles. There's going to be two different pregnancy bundles that I actually post on this group that you can look at and see. And these are the essential oils that we recommend that you use to get started if you do not have these oils at home. So what this allows is it allows you to get your core oils as well as free membership onto our team. So if you want me to coach you, or whoever invited you to this class to specifically be the one who coaches you through this process and how to use the essential oils in your pregnancy and then over the next year while your membership is active, then this bundle that I'm going to show you allows you to do that for free. It actually comes with a free membership, which is wonderful because that gives you 25% off all your products for the next year. And it also gains you access to our private support group so that we can support you as well as a one-on-one consult. So we still want to meet with you one-on-one over the computer, in person, whatever works for you, but we want to meet with you and make sure that you understand these oils and you're using them safely and that you're using them correctly, because that's so important, especially during pregnancy. And this is a wonderful gift idea too. If you're a mom or a grandma or you know someone who's pregnant, this is a wonderful gift or tool to give them, not just for their pregnancy, but also for the health of their family and their babies as well. Each person is going to be doing an incentive also. So ask the person who invited you, what is your incentive? If I enroll on your team with a membership, what free stuff are you going to give me? Because we will give you, depending on who it is, everyone does it a little bit differently. Mine is a textbook. I actually give you a textbook because I am scientifically and research based. I want you to have a textbook to actually show you the research that supports these different oils and how they're safe and how to use them. And then obviously you get the coaching from me always in addition to that. So I'm going to post these bundles for you. If you have any questions or anything you feel like I didn't cover well enough or I didn't totally answer for you, please message me in private and I can go over any of this stuff. Or anyone who invited you, contact them directly so that they can answer any questions that you may have also throughout this process. But remember, this is class number 1. There's going to be a second class because I did go over so much information. The second class is just going to be over the laboring process, the actual delivery, and then the immediate postpartum recovery period. So, and a couple things for the immediate postpartum recovery period for the baby as well. But that class is going to be in a couple weeks, but it's going to be on this page also. So you'll just tune right back in and it'll be live, and I'll record that also. So if you need to go back and look at the notes, because there's going to be so much information that we're going to be covering. So again, if you have any questions, please contact us. And if there's anything that we can help you with, let us know. But I'm so glad you guys were able to tune in, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.